Today, I would like to talk about, food. Even though I'm not dietitian or work in the nutrition field, however, food is a very important component. Everybody knows that. And food is directly related to our health. It's not only physical health and mental health and psychological health and everything. Our body physically, we have to feel healthy and energetic. And then it goes to our mental health and mental strength. That is related to our cognitive process and the part we work and live as a human, being using human power. And I just thought about food a lot, and I'm very interested in food. And I just realized these days why we have a high increasing prevalence of very slight neurodiversity. So exceptionalities and neurodiversity, and I know, neurodiversity is we use more on human, it's like, I don't know, human diversity concepts. However, we have many children slightly, very noticeably, identifiably, a little bit off in neurodevelopmental parts. So we cannot pinpoint that they actually have disabilities. So they are all staying in general education classrooms. However, teachers know a little bit slightly something missing in them. And even though they cannot pinpoint, but most of the case, it is a little bit of a social part. So it's like a social sense and a little bit of mind reading about the, understanding other people and their mind and their thought and their inner world. So they have many difficulties with in friendships and other interactions, human interactions. And one day I just thought about that, it's not, I'm not saying this is directly related to food we eat. However, since, food is very important for our entire mental, physical, psychological health, these days in modern society, we eat food made by other people, not by our hands, and we know what to put in the food menu and food recipe. It is by other people, and most of the days it's just you may just, you're interested in this if you're parents or teachers or students or just young adults. Just write down what you eat, not about the what kind of food you ate. It's just simply the food you made or food you bought. It doesn't matter you went to a grocery store and then you bought the frozen food or pre-made food. These are all made by other people. That is the first one you may want to check. And then second one, what you put, if you cook, and then what you put in there. So I'm saying more like the seasonings and sauce and dressings. So if you purely use nature-based ingredients there, or you already, you use pre-made sauces and dressings, like spaghetti sauce in a can or jar, they are pre-made sauces. So your job is just cook steamed noodles and then mix it with that sauce. And then very simply, you can make just a dinner easily, right? If you can, even, you buy, what is that, meatballs, pre-made meatballs, and then just it's wonderful, dinner. Simply, you just invest about 30 minutes and then you can cook and make food. So Let's think about that. Only part you cook is a noodle. You didn't make a noodle, but that part of noodle, and then you steam or boil and cook, and then you mix with those ingredients. That's all you did. So it is not 100% cooking. It is about halfway cooking, because tomato sauce, spaghetti sauce, and then you read those ingredients and then what it has. It is purely only tomato sauce, like we make and grandma made tomato sauce, and you just, peel the tomato, peels, and then you mash it or just cook, and then you put in the jar, and then you canning. Is that the one, or really the factory puts some, I don't know, ingredients for preserve the food freshness and or something. So we have to see those. So again, first, you made the food 100%. I mean, you cooked home, or even though you cooked home, still it is pre-made food or frozen food, or you do take out from the restaurant and eat at home, or you went out to the restaurant and then eat there. So how many times per week you do, or per month you do? You just count those. And then secondly, you made food, you cook at home, just restaurant ones or just pre-made ones, and then they are all just it's out of your control. However, if you make a food at home, and then you just watch yourself, what you have in your refrigerator. So how many seasonings and sauces you made or you bought. If you bought all those, that means it is pure, not pure you're cooking. Okay, let's say you make a spaghetti again. So you easily make, instead of put it meatballs, pre-made frozen meatballs, Italian meatballs, you may just have a ground beef, and then easily you can just make a ball, and then you can just cook, air fryer or stove, you cook it, and then you put it there, because anyway, it will go with the spaghetti sauce. So anyway, seasoning, you don't have to worry about it. And then you really bought the real tomato, and then you could just soak in hot water and then peel it, and then you chop it and then put it in the spaghetti, and then you can put some cheese, whatever cheese you like, and then salt and pepper, and then garlic. Garlic is really good. So you just put some garlic, and then olive oil, and then that tomato sauce. It doesn't have to be red tomato sauce. You just chop it and put it there in a little bit less sour, so you don't have to put a lot of different things. Oh, onions. You chop onions, and so garlics and onions and tomatoes, you put it there, and then olive oil, and then you just stir, pan fry, and then you put the spaghetti there, right? And then some, you pepper and salt, and then you put it, what is that, cheese or something you like, and then eat. So in there, only the one you didn't make is noodles, and then cheese. Rest of them is pretty much all you cook, right? Onion is a nature, farm-grown, veggies. Garlic is the same, and olive oil is we believe it's just it is oil. So I don't believe any olive oil has some other stuff. So spaghetti, you bought the spaghetti sauce, and then just put it there. And then if you like, meatballs, you just buy Italian meatball or whatever frozen meatballs, and then you put it there, and then only noodle part you just put an effort, and still it could be better than you go out and buy frozen spaghettis or pre-made spaghettis or just restaurant spaghettis. I believe it is a little bit more safer, a little bit safer than those. However, it's not 100% real naturally cooked food, right? So think about those, and it's not only about ourselves. I just thought and trailed thought, and then our children, your children, just newborn babies, and then just past 1 year, and then that gradually, like a toddler age, they started eating more natural food you gave. And then if you eat out, that's more than 80%, you eat the food made by other people, and then your children eat food made by other people. And you never know what they have there, even though, those ingredients they put there, but, can we really trust 100% it is really, that's the only one they put. Also, even organic food, we pay, almost triple times more, for the organic ingredients. However, I always said, how do we know how much it's organic? And even though, all those, but we didn't farm it, so we have to give up somehow. We just trust those corporation made this organic, packaged it, not farms, right? Those farm stuff products, come to those corporation, and then they just all just wash or whatever, just do triple times washed, and then we don't know it's really pure, what kind of water they washed triple times. So our children eat those food for the whole their life, and then after high school graduation, pretty much many children move out of house, and then if they have been eating like that, they never learn the pure natural cooking, and then outside they will maintain those food like that, probably worse than their parents given food, because only 20 meant they're poor, right? Not much money they have, so they live like that, and then after their marriage or just rest of their lives. So if young age, they barely seen their parents cooking, and then they are not gonna cook, and they even don't know, they have gifts in cooking, right? And then their children's children eat like that forever. So it's generation by generation. So I'm not scientist. I know, I may just exaggerate, but as an educator, I have a little bit of a fear and nervousness. So when I was a mom, I'm still mom, but when I was a, little children's mom, it was really a lot of part bothered me. I was scared. And I don't know, it's because I'm in special education, probably I was a little bit more sensitive. And then my husband, crazily, he studied about those food, and he was obsessive about organic food, and just so obsessive, whole food. And then I just teased him, whole food market is your playground, because he's disappeared, and then he's pretty much went to whole food market, and we were very economically, financially tight. So I was not happy. However, even though I'm working mom, and then, thankfully I in higher education, so my schedule I could control. So I pretty much, when kids are around, and then pretty much I worked, with my children in the kitchen table, and then my kids there, and then I just, even though still I'm on the computer, physically I try to be with them, so they can feel a little bit safe, emotionally safe, and then they can read and focus whatever they're doing and playing. So I tried to cook almost 100% at home. And then culturally, I'm from different cultures, so of course, just ethnic food was important as well. However, those scary part about the food, and I was very nervous and scared about it. And then I was surprised how much modern families they eat food made by other people. And then, as I said, it's not gonna, I know, our DNA is not strong enough and gene is strong enough. And then we could have those sickness and, critical sickness. I'm not saying it's by food, but about our lifestyles and all that, we could be fragile. However, our children and then next generation and next generation, I'm just thinking about that. And I'm just very nervous. So cooking is really time consuming and a lot of effort we have to put. Either of mom or dad, they are not interested, it's not interested in cooking. And then they don't have any, choice but eat food made by other people. And if we have tons of money and then we can hire cook and chef, that is the most envy things we could do. And then we can monitor and then we can buy just the best, ingredients and then we can do it. But barely I'm just want to share this, just to think about it. I know, our life is very busy and very modern society. It's really our, family dynamics and all that. It is very tough. However, one of part, you could think, I suggested this one in my book as well. Our family, we don't have those parents' roles anymore because all the time in farming country, we had grandmas, just a representative of our wisdom and their character education. And it seems like they know everything, grandma and grandpa, and then mom and dad, and always they, inherit those wisdoms and all that. But modern society, we don't have those luxury anymore. Right? However, somebody gotta say this kind, and always we are thinking animals, so we could think about it and reflect ourselves. So before, without thinking, we just trust that this is really good. We just trust the society. So we believe those corporations, restaurants, and just they're not gonna just put any harmful ingredients that can harm, people. I, really want to trust them, and you want to trust them as well. However, this capitalism, I don't know. It's a really scary, about how our philosophies and beliefs and perspectives. In here, everything is all about the money and profits. Right? So I see this capitalism is really, really good, and we appreciate we have this freedom, and we work hard, and then we have a monetary reward and financial reward, economic reward. It's really good. However, because of this, many times just a human became next. So profit first, and then human is next. That kind of, if CEOs of a corporation don't have a strong philosophy about the humans, I don't know how to express this one, and then easily they could put the profit first. So money first, and then next just a human. And we gotta be really, really careful, even with especially young children, because their habits, their routines, their lifestyles are all learned from their parents' lifestyles, right? So even their food, favorite food is most times it's when they ate young childhood. So we see those many. When I was here all the time, I could not understand seeing all the people in McDonald's. And then they came and then they bought French fries. I just asked my friend, and then she said, well, they just miss their childhood food. So, that was a new thing, because in Korea, we have the same thing. You get old, we even having saying, if you do not eat, you lost the taste of that food, and then you are grown ups now. So we have that food, it is Chinese food. And here, I heard that and then I just left. So that much childhood time is very important, even though only 18 years or 20 years we live with our children, then those habits, those, 2 decades, long time. It is a long time. So even though we work and we busy and then we have money and we can buy, yummy food outside, delicious food outside, and then that could be really good nutrition. So we all understand that. And then going outside and restaurant, and it is really like a family time, and just everybody's just off from cooking. And I really encourage to have those. However, that family time is just once a month, and twice a month, or just once every week. It's okay. And at home, and whole family sitting together and more like around the table time we have, and that is the most part I a little bit regret, because even though we lived with our kids and then we stayed a lot, however, I don't believe we officially had some really like a formal family time, like at least once a week or something like that, around the table time. We share about our lives, what's going on, and those kind of part. Even though I had a lot of talk and conversation with my children and very close, however, I really liked my husband and my children and both of us sitting together and share about our thought and those kind of what Greece people do. So that is the one part missing. So I just want to talk about this food part. Just remember, we eat food, how much portion we made, or 100% made by other people, or 80% made by other people. We don't know what they put in. And then 60%, 40%, just see how we do. And as I said, cooking is not that hard, right? We all know that. Easily just have if you like shrimp and seafood, and easily you just have shrimp steam, or just olive oil and then garlic, and then easily you can just cook. And then salad, even I don't use spring mix or spinach that much, just only once a while, because those are easily just spoiled quickly. So I have all those vegetables not spoiled that quickly. So like broccoli, celery, and even cabbage, purple, and just white one. Those are very goes long in the refrigerator if you cannot go to grocery store every week. And so those kind of and sprouts. So I have those, and then I just mix it easily. You just put the lemon and olive oil, or balsamic and olive oil. Easily you can put, very simple way, and then salt and pepper. I don't usually use pepper, but salt and pepper. And then I usually have just a hemp, flaxseed, and then what was the other one? Third one, I forgot. Hemp, flaxseed, and then what was it? Chia. So those 3, I mix those and then put in the jar. And then I like that bagel seasoning. I forgot the real name, but seasoned bagel seasoning in Costco. And there are all sesame seeds, black one, white one, yellow one, and then with those salt. And then I just pre-ground or not. So after I make those food and salad, whatever, and I put those as a, I don't know, garnish. It's not garnish, but I just mix those, and then it increases the taste and then our health. So most of the times I try to make a food, one bowl has as many as ingredients there. So even one bowl food is great. So easily those vegetables, sprouts is really not that, tasty vegetables. However, you just slice it and then you just pan in the pan and the olive oil and then pan, or just avocado oil and pan. And then you just put a little bit of, soy sauce and then a little bit of white wine or just those, and then a little bit of sweet. I usually agave I use, or just maple syrup, and then put it there, and then you just quickly, you don't have to cook. And then I just take it out. And most of the vegetables and carrots, that's what I do very quickly, about just 1 minute or even 30 seconds on heat, and then quickly I pan fry and then put it out, and then put some protein based meat. I usually don't eat much meat, but seafood is pretty much I like. So we use seafood, and or just tofu and whatever, just put it there. So easily we can make food. It's not that hard, with the natural ingredients. And then garlic, I don't know, you like garlics, but I know Asians, we eat garlic a lot. So I just have garlics, and since I don't have time to peel, so that is the last I'm giving apart. But when I have a time, and then I want to peel those garlics, but peel the garlics in a bag, I just buy them, and then I just in the blender or just a food processor, I ground it, and then I put in the jars, small jars, and then just freeze them, and then one by one I take out and use. And then I have just a real garlic. So every those kind of in a quick, what is that, pan fried when I did, and then I add the garlics too. Garlic is amazing veggies, for resist all those bad germs and all that. So it's not hard once you do it, and then you can easily be skillful. And you may know, you may find interesting cooking. Okay, even though it's not cooking show, what I'm saying is, as a mom, as a teacher, or just whoever work with children, and you are responsible person feeding your children, or just you work in a day, I don't know, other places. So we have to think about it. Even school lunch is really, we all know school lunch is horrible. And I didn't go to school, K-12 schools here. However, my children really, really didn't enjoy and didn't appreciate school lunch. And I'm not bragging, so don't take it wrong. However, in Korea, they now have a free school lunch. 100% free, just no matter your rich people's kids and poor people's kids, just kids go to lunchroom and eat lunch. However, in Korea's school lunch standard is very, very strict. So pretty much those are all really cooked food. It's not pre-made, frozen, and just a cafeteria only heat the food and serve. It's not that. And they make sure all those nutritions, every school building, they have dietitians, nutritionists or dietitians. So they balance all those nutritions, even though it's only one lunch. However, they really focus on those lunch. And I bet there's a lot of budgets they spend on that. And rural area, that rural is a little bit different from here, but outside the not big cities, so it's just a small cities, schools, rural area schools. My students, my schools, university students, they are pre-service teachers. They went to Korea for teaching internship. So I had the opportunity to go to Korea, visit Korea, and those schools. I was amazed by these lunches. I was very impressed. And then that lunch was very tasty, very fresh. In the summer, it's just like fresh. It seems like, those vegetables are just from the farm. that much fresh lunch and they all cook, and not just brown food there, not, fried brown food. It's very picky about it and make sure that if they serve any small schools food poison or anything, it will be on the news in that town. So very careful, and even that small school, just a student number is under 100, still that school has dietitians and nutritionists monitor those kitchen cooking, and they make all those menu. I don't know, it's not what do we call it. They make menus per every day for the week. So based on that, they cook, just make a soup and then rice and then, one nutrition. So it's like a meat based and then vegetables and make sure, and the fruit, even fruits. So again, don't take it wrong. I'm not bragging. I'm just talking about what other countries, one of the examples we do. I'm not saying all other countries' lunch menus are great, not just only United States, okay? Sometimes because of my background, I got misunderstood by my student, and she's talking and bragging about Korea. It's not that. I'm just using the example outside. So we have to think out of a box. That means out of a well. In Korea, we say out of a well, because you are inside the well, only your sky is just like this small. But here we say out of a box. So we see out of a box, out of, thinking, boxes thinking, right? And many of us, you never been in Korea. However, I was from Korea. That's why I know those countries so easily. I can just confidently, I could compare to talk about out of a box thinking and examples. So that's the only reason I'm doing this. Okay, so I know, I'm as an educator, not just a person working in food. However, I just really want as a parents or as an adult, we feed our children. I really like to think about this, and then you really just do data collection for your own families, and then yourself, and then your children. And then we could make some could put some efforts and times, because food is the most important one, right? The most important one. I see it's most important one because it's just directly related to our life and our health. And then, who knows what kind of, disabilities we have, because in Korea, again, in Korea, but that article is published, I believe in English, I'm not sure it's in United States, I forgot about the journal name. They just found, they did mice experiment, because mice, we do a lot of experiment with mice, right? And to understand the human system, they did an experiment with plastic, very, very tiny, invisible plastics, went to the mouse brains. They showed autism. They said it's autism. However, they said it's a social part and emotional part. And they said it's autistic symptoms, those mice shows. And then they defined that, mice got pregnant, and then they find that plastic went to the babies, and then that baby shows autistic symptoms. Can you believe this? When I read that, I just, then how can we explain about this, sibling part? Because we have a lot of, I know, we have not, those researchers, medical researchers, those researchers have not confidently, define the cause of autism yet, but we could see toward more percentage on genes than environmental factors, right? However, this part is environmental factors. However, it is really like a mom, it's inherited to the child from mom's pregnancy, and then baby got born. So I don't know how to interpret this, but it's a recent study, so probably those researchers will explain more and see more. And then I'm waiting for the other, researchers in autism field, those neurologists, those medical field people, because I'm not scientist, and the scientist can see this and then how they interpret, this result. I really waiting for that, but I'm just using this one as talking about this one about, this, I'm not saying this is 100% you eat wrong and then your child will have a disability. I'm not saying that, okay? So don't get wrong. However, they eat healthy and then they are more energetic and mentally more energetic, and then their cognition and learning and focus and attention is, we all know that, right? Think about that. We eat really like, so-called, we say just junk food. And then you ate junk food full, not little, and then you don't feel good, right? So sometimes we just got so hungry and then we just ran to the, best food restaurants. I'm not saying, their food is all junk food. However, we feel hungry and then I do sometimes, and just, I don't consciously watch what I'm eating because I'm so hungry. And then, you feel very tired, and then next day, and then you think of, when you are so out of energy and then no just motivations, and then you think, what did I eat last night? I slept okay. And so that's how we reflect ourselves. So okay, so let's just think about it. I'm just kind of throwing one topic. Let's we all just think about it and just see ourselves and reflect. Okay.